empty except the chair next to me. In case if mobile rings, that gentleman or that person's mom will occupy this chair. So that's the way I conduct my classes in IISC. So, the 22nd of this month is celebrated as a water day. And yesterday we had forest day. Day for yesterday it was the sparrows day. Of course, as an Indian we are used to this celebration every alternate day. Internationally also we do that. But one other thing we need to understand is country might develop. But if it is going to develop at the cost of water and health of the youngsters, I would say that developmental path we should shun. We should not follow that. I've been writing about it, I've been communicating to the government. Many people accept my views. The country is a diverse country. There are some criticism, which I also accept. And of course, my writing becomes more stronger when I have more criticism. Okay, today what I have planned is to share with you all what I have been doing, what I have learned. And probably there's a message also. When we talk about water, you cannot keep nature away. If you need water, you need nature. So when I talk about nature, the forest, etc. comes under that. And I work in this environment. In fact, last 2.5 decades I have been working there, Western Ghats. And I started my journey there in Western Ghats. And also, if I am successful today, I would say it's because I learned from nature. Whatever I have learned, I brought to the lab. My students have converted into technology. So today, if you are known, it's because of that. And this is the kind of the environment I work. And if you look at this carefully, I also use this slide to teach laws of thermodynamics. The energy transfer happens, the optimization energy happens. Everyone is getting food, all the plants are getting the food, synthesizing the solar energy. There is a competition, there is optimization, but there is no greediness. In our society, the humans, we would be happy if our neighbor is in stress. That is the attitude of the humans. If my neighbor is stressed more, I am more happy. That is the thing I have noticed, and all my statements are backed with the science. We have done a lot of studies to get this kind of idea. So, and that greediness is the root cause of our problem. Mahatma Gandhi said it long back, before my birth. I'm just uttering what he said. For me, the Western Ghat has to be conserved. Western Ghat, we call it as a water tower of the peninsular India. You get water security. Because of water security, there is a food security. Now, apart from that, why we need to conserve Western Ghat? Let us try to understand. Look at this Western Ghat. It is from Kerala to Gujarat. And it is from latitude, if you look at 8 degree to 22 degree latitude. And if I look at the species, from 8 to 14 degree, I have the highest number of plants and animals. If I don't conserve this patch, where will I get this diversity of plants and animals? And this diverse plants and animals gives me the diverse food, nutraceuticals, and also the medicinal thing. And whatever the plants and animals that are there globally, probably we have described only 2% of the species. We have identified only 2%, their medicinal properties, etc. Had we identified the remaining 98%, you would have seen that we would have addressed most of our health issues. Now, this gives you the linkage between the evapotranspiration and the vertebrate species. You are all graduates, you know what are vertebrate species. I don't have to ask you about vertebrate species. But as a teacher, I would like to learn what are these vertebrate species. You have any answer?
Out of syllabus, sir, for us now, you have forgotten.
Which has spinal cord.
Okay, some example. I'm not sure. If we had spinal cord, Bangalore wouldn't have been like this. So the Bangalore tragedy is a clear indication of the citizens of Bangalore not having spinal cord. And same thing holds good for the entire country. Okay? Now, evapotranspiration, you all know, is from the plants. Plant transpire water and evaporation happens from the, so that means you need water, you need plants if vertebrate species have to survive. Okay? This is what is I have noticed in the nature, we have an equilibrium. We have the certain, the produce which are eaten by the consumers. When everything happens, if you look at carefully, there is a transaction of material and energy from one layer to the next level. And finally, whatever is left in the system, is put back to the elemental form by the bacteria and fungi. The detritivores does that job. If I look at nature, there is nothing called waste. But when I come to our society, there is a lot of waste. So, nature is in equilibrium. And also when you look at Western Ghats, I see there is a lot of equilibrium. Look at the equilibrium. Probably these ladies are in early 50s. They go down in the water estuary, at least 4 to 5 minutes. They collect a bucket full of bivalves. I'm sure you all know what bivalves are. So the organism which has a shell, so the meat is inside, which is eaten by the people and also exported to Goa and the Mumbai. And the shell is used for making tooth powder, toothpaste, etc. And here, they lead a happy life. Probably the average human earns at least 200 rupees per day. Okay? And they lead a very healthy life also. But when you come to the urban area, look at what happens. Here, vulnerable section of society is exposed to the contaminants. Poor lady is struggling to get her earning. Probably she might get 10 rupees worth material, 20 rupees. This is a reflection of inequilibrium in the system. We have water-cooled buses. Okay? Even if you are in a car, if you try to take rest under the tree, you know what happens. That is the reflection of inequilibrium. And if you look at globally, or even the country, see, we receive a rainfall in Kerala 4,000 to 5,000 millimeter. But November 2016, Kerala declared drought. All districts in Kerala were without water. Okay? The Karnataka also similar situation happened. We had a rain of 3,000 to 3,500. But still we had drought. And entire country, 279 districts were under water stress. This is more to do with the mismanagement of the resources. Whereas Rajasthan, if you look at, they get rain of 300 to 350 millimeter. When I go there, there is no water stress. So now, I can tell you why 350 millimeter in Rajasthan there is no water crisis, whereas 3,500 millimeter in Karnataka we have water stress because of the mismanagement. Okay. Now, before I take up my another message I will give you, and then I will get into my topic. When you look at every practice of ours, there is a water or there is a message. For example, if your diet, when you look at, you can be water efficient. Having pulses, there are many advantages. One of my colleagues, after retirement, when he retired, he had blood pressure, sugar, all problems were there. But he just changed the food habit. The night he started having 5 varieties of fruits and 5 varieties of vegetables, okay, and a bowl of pulses. And today, after 5 years, I see him not having blood pressure, nor the sugar. Then when I started looking at what could be the reason, the pulses, the digestion is slower. Sugar release is slower and insulin release is slower. Whereas the people who take carbohydrate in the night, digestion is faster, insulin release is faster. That's why you would have noticed elderly person watched TV, slept nicely, but nomadic no more. That is because of this insular mismatch in the system. So now that is as far as the humans are concerned. Now as far as the ecology is concerned, to grow pulses you require less water. Okay, and if you grow pulses in a place where human animal conflicts are there, then you can minimize the human animal conflict. That means where animals move, we know the routes of the wild animals. Those places, make sure you don't grow paddy or the sugarcane, which animal likes it. Instead of that, you grow the pulses. Then you have addressed the human animal conflicts also. So then for the youngsters, it optimizes brain functioning. All the brainy people have a lot of pulses in their food. And also those who are obese, you can keep in mind this. Even in our experiment on algae, we have noticed when you stress algae with nutrient, that means protein, algae doesn't stores more lipid. So that means if you give more protein, then less lipid. So that means if you put it the same thing to the humans, when you eat more protein, you don't have more fat accumulation. This is even medical field also, people agree with this result. Okay. Now this gives you the water footprint of the you look at the pulses, you require about 200 liters of water to produce 1 kg of pulses. Okay. Then about 5,000 liters of water to produce 1 kg of beef. And even rice, sugarcane has something of this order. So now look at the water footprint. Your consumer behavior also sometimes has the water footprint. A person changing a t-shirt every month would be spending 2,000 liters of water every, okay? So, and a kg of shoe is about 16,600 liters. Okay. I didn't talk about chocolate. I left it because I don't want to rub too much. Okay. Now, now I will come to the result. I'll give some results of Western Ghats and then bring you to the Bangalore and tell you about what's happening in Bangalore. What as a citizens we have to do. So that we will discuss and then I'll wind up my talk. Okay. Now these are my areas of research. I work in the area biodiversity, ecology, hydrology, energy, land and water. Also I talk about plastic. Okay. Before I talk about plastic, I will tell you about the Western Ghats results. Probably people who have followed the rally for rivers would have seen my talk. My result was used by Sadhguru Jaggi. Sometimes the spiritual leader have to follow the science. So, in fact, one of the saints told me, you can do the Google search, you can see on the net also, you will get the statement. I was in Udupi for one of the engineering college, the inaugural session as a chief guest. The saint was there. He made a statement. I was sitting next to him on the left hand side, and the right hand side of saint was another professor was there. So he made a statement. Saint yesterday is a scientist today. Okay? So that looks to me is correct. Because I know what was happening in Bangalore in 1800. None of you will know. But I know what was happening, which I am going to share. So, and probably I might extend my talk by 5 or 10 minutes. If you all agree, I will do that. Otherwise, if you say I am tired, I will close the shop. Okay, now this is my area of work. So when you have too much of energy, you don't see the thing. So that's what has happened. Okay. Now, we need to manage. We say the ecosystem management. So that means if you look at any ecosystem, the kind of species that are there in the ecosystem depends on the physical and chemical integrity of the ecosystem. That is where you should not manipulate the ecosystem. The fools sitting in Delhi talking about river linkage is as bad as innocent fellows struggling for a water, the contaminated water, having the contaminated water here. Now, when you talk about ecosystem approach, how do we manage the ecosystem? When you look at any ecosystem, you know the way the ecosystem is covered. I'm talking about a terrestrial ecosystem. You know this terrestrial ecosystem, the land covered with the forest, its ecological function is different. Okay, you all know what are ecological function. You know the water cycle, biogeochemical cycle. These all you would have studied and forgotten now. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I will not ask you the question, but I will tell you one result. Because you know I was addressing the faculty in Andhra Pradesh about the 60 days back. Like this, I was giving a talk. Being a faculty, I thought that they all know the subject. And nobody confessed like you. Very less honest people. Okay? So, and I asked what is water cycle. I thought the gentleman will tell me it has got precipitation. You know the water comes down. Then you have the infiltration. Then evaporation, transpiration, condensation. Then the cycle is the thing. But the gentleman told me the message what he gave me, I can't forget even in the night, the dream. He said, sir, please look outside. People are carrying water pot on the bicycle. When you carry water on bicycle, it becomes water. And you know, this is the tragedy of my country. This kind of people becoming a faculty is a tragedy. You know, that is where I started thinking. I told my students, I will not go and talk to these faculty. I will rather go to schools or play this one so that I can be happy in the rest of my life. Okay? Now, look at this. This is the I think this light you may have to switch off. I want people to see. Even there you can do that so that is it? Only this row. Okay. Now you can see this is during my 25 years journey in Western Ghats. This was when I started as a student. I was young and nature was also young. Today look at it.
Is the same place?
Same place. And this is what is happening in the entire country. This is what we need to understand also. And you are all convinced about this. There is a linkage between the water and vegetation. But as a researcher, I cannot stop there. I need to give the quantitative estimate. Because when I go to Vidhan Soda, people ask me a very funny question. What is the proof? When you sit on the other side of the fence, it becomes very easy to ask questions. So for them only we did the experiment. You know, this is a river basin. The origin is in Ambutirtha, travels about 128 kilometers, joins the ocean in Honavar at the Arabian Sea. Now for most of the civil engineers, how many are the civil engineers here? Are there civil engineers? Huh? No, you can raise your hand. I am going to this one feels so. Okay, for most civil engineer, this blue is the river. That is the first level of mismanagement. See, what they have to manage is the entire region, which we call it as a catchment. Catchment is a region which drains the water to the river. Now, this river has seen some changes. We have a dam there. Reservoir was constructed at, Linganmakki, the Joke Falls. You must have visited Joke Falls, okay? So then, the amount of water that comes to Linganmakki dam depends on the health of the catchment. Okay? Now you want to see whether this kind of developmental activity has affected the ecosystem. Let us try to understand. You can also do the analysis, not complex. 100 plus years of rainfall data is available. Just take the rainfall data, divide it into 2 time period. So, 1901 to, I thought that only in the assembly people walk out. I didn't know that even in this.
There's a shift change.
Okay. No, sometimes you should have it. Okay? Change in the system also. Some new fellows coming in is good. Okay? So now take the rainfall data. You have 1901 to today, 2017 data is available. Divide it into 2 time period, 1901 to 65 and 65 to today. Why 65? Because the dam was commissioned in 65. You'll be surprised to see this region, entire region was receiving about 4,000 to 5,000 millimeter rainfall. But today, only this portion received 4,000 to 5,000 millimeter, whereas this portion started receiving 1,700 to 1,900 millimeter. Now what, see, and also if you look at density of streams are higher here, here stream density is sparse, okay. Now what could be the reason? Let us look at the land cover. Now how do you assess the land cover? Today fortunately you have a remote sensing data, satellite keep revolving the earth, every 21 days or 30 days you get a photograph of the earth, any part of the globe. That means from 70 onwards you can do the change analysis, when you have a temporal data. So now when you look at this cover, you will see that I am talking about this portion and this is the land cover. Green is the forest and orange and the yellow is the agriculture or open area. You see on this side, you have more of the forest, green color, whereas this side you have more of open areas. Now that could be the one of the reasons. Now to understand that, what we do is, we move from the, these are the streams, two streams join from second order, then many streams join from tributary. Each tributary has a sub-basin, catchment. Now we have just delineated the catchment and we have started looking at what is the rainfall and what is the forest cover. Now these are the sub-basins on the west, these are the sub-basins on the east. Now let us look at that. See, sub-basin on the east, forest cover is 30%, rainfall 1,700. Forest cover 40%, rainfall 1,710. Then on the western side, forest cover 65%, rainfall is 4,800, or the 60% you have 4,400. Now this establishes the amount of rain, the forest in the region decides the rainfall. Now you know that the entire river basin receives the southwest monsoon. It's a orographic precipitation. It is like I have this one, but one portion I get less water, other portion I get this one. That is mainly because of the cover. How the forest is covered. This one. Now what I have done is, we pick up one stream in each of the sub-basin. We monitor the stream for 18 months. Why 18 months? To understand the seasonal variation. Every monsoon how much water, then summer how much water and all. Then we grade the stream as A, B, C, D. A are the stream which carry water all 12 months, B are the one, and C carries water for 6 to 8 months, and D are the one carries water only during the monsoon. Now let's see where this A, B, C, D type of streams are there. See, A type of streams occur in the catchment when the forest cover is more than 60% and that too of native species. And when we convert that forest into monoculture plantation of rubber, acacia, etc., it becomes either B or C, that means 6 to 8 months. And when we degrade the forest less than 40%, you see you have D type of stream. See, when someone talks about development, in Kerala if you go, there are people who engrow the forest and they convert that into rubber plantation. They say call that as a development, and government also accept that model as a development. Now when they do that, they deprive the surrounding area the water for 4 to 6 months, because the streams which used to carry 12 months now carry 6 to 8 months. And those who have degraded the forest to less than 30% or 40%, only during monsoon you have the water. This is the thing. This is what Sadhguru looked at it and he was very excited. He said, I will green the entire catchment of the thing. I also said, oh, that's a wonderful idea. To put things in simpler words so that you will remember. When you cover Mother Earth with a native vegetation, she will retain the water for 12 months. When you convert that, the green native vegetation by the synthetic vegetation of rubber or acacia or eucalyptus, monoculture plantation, she retains the water for 6 to 8 months. That means we lose water for 4 to 6 months. And when you deforest the region to an extent less than 40%, then she retains the water only for 4 months. That means you will not have water for 8. This is what is happening in most of the rivers, including Cauvery. Today Cauvery, the forest cover is only 16%. That to where it is In Kerala part of Cauvery we have, but Karnataka and Tamil Nadu part, which is always conflict, has degraded the forest. That's what is happening in the system. Now, let us try to understand the mechanism, how it works. When the forests are there, the plant roots interact with the soil through the microbes. When they interact, the soil is porous. When the soil is porous, it allows the water to percolate. That's how the rainwater get deposited in the underlying layer, groundwater zone. After saturation, it fills this zone, which we call it a Vado zone. Then after saturation of these two, you will see the water flowing in the stream. Okay, that means during the monsoon, if there is a vegetation in the catchment, it has deposited enough water in the underlying layer. Now, what is the advantage of that? Okay, now suppose if there is no vegetation, whatever the water that falls goes as a flash flood. It is like you have a bald man, put a water on his head, flows down. Exactly same thing happens here. Okay, now see how we have 12 months water. See, during monsoon, you have water because of the rain. Next 4 months, the water that is stored here in this region, you get it for the river or a stream. Okay, then during summer, the water that is stored here comes to the river or stream. That's how you have 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12 months of water. This is a very important research. I have challenged the system to disprove that. No one had the courage to disprove that. Rather, more and more people is joining my hand to say that yes, there is what I am talking has some sense. Okay. Now let us also look at the other aspects. I will skip this. Okay. This gives the diversity of animals. It could be sloth, bears, tiger, etc. They all occur where water is there all 12 months. The day when you remove the water, they will come to JP Nagar, nice road, they will take a walk. So that's what we are doing in Bannerghatta National Park. The people who have watched TV, probably the yesterday, day for yesterday, and who read newspaper would have noticed this. We using remote sensing data, we have shown where mining is happening. One of the officials sitting in AC room in Aranya Bhavan says there is no mining. Because if he agrees with me, the minister will throw him out. And minister is from that region. And I don't know whether you must have got the message now, whether he is arrested or not. IT is supposed to take action on him. 2:30 is now 3:30. Okay, now let us move forward. See, this is a fish. This is a new species of fish we have described in this region. This is important from medicinal point of view. Now, this fish tells me that if it has to be there, this is an endemic species. That means it occurs only there. If it has to be there, it has to have water 12 months. Now, if there is no water 12 months, I lose this fish. Now, that's where the stream which was carrying water 12 months become 4 months. I have a problem of losing this fish. Okay. Now, you see, this is the algae. This is pachi. The water, you keep it in a bottle for a few days, you see a slimy layer, no? Or bathroom when you sleep. This is a thing. When you observe under a microscope, you look at the beautiful architecture. That's what you should enjoy. Okay. Now, this is a new species of frog, the Philatus. We have named it Nila Netra because it has a blue eye. Okay. That's how we do the job. Okay. So what we call that by. See, we don't name a child if it doesn't have a beautiful eye. We don't call it as the Sulochana. Okay. Similarly, we don't call Bangalore as a dynamic city. We call Bangalore as a dead city. That's what my article was. You would have noticed that. Okay. Now let us see the next slide. See, now you all know frogs are amphibians. That means it has a dual life. One stage is in water, another stage is on the land. Now the stage on water. Suppose if the water scarcity happens, will the frog survive? Let us try to understand. Now this species, Philatus leucorinus, this fellow, after fertilization of the egg, it bypasses the tadpole stage and young one emerges out. That means there is a scarcity of water. Probably this organism has learned how to continue the progeny in spite of water stress. Keep my words in mind. Climate change is happening, global warming is happening, we irresponsible humans are creating more and more mess. Only once a year we will have this kind of a thing and forget remaining 364 days. And my guess is only the animals will survive because they know how to get adapted. We will not survive. Whatever the technological supremacy you might have, but one day you have to end your journey. And this, the fertilized egg, we got it to the lab. After 14 days, I saw the egg ones emerging out. That means it has learned to survive without the tadpole stage. Okay? Now, based on this, we said which are the regions to be conserved. Okay? Now, I will, so you understood? If there is a forest, how it moderates the microclimate, how do you get water all 12 months? Okay? And then biodiversity, the linkages you understood. You all understood in last 15-20 minutes. I took 20 years to do this, to understand. The scientists are slow learners. So, okay, now I will talk about, some people might feel uncomfortable with me. People sitting in ivory towers talk about diversion of the river. Those fellows should know what happened in Gujarat. Gujarat, go to the downstream. The people are suffering with the saline water. If they are not convinced of Gujarat, let them go to Russia. Russia is a land of water. Because of diversions about 2 decades back, today there are problems in the rivers. What's happening in Gujarat and some parts of Karnataka is happening there also. Okay? And everyone comes up with the argument saying the water going to the ocean is waste. When the monsoon is ferocious, I have to send this water to the ocean. If I don't send it, the saline water will come in. And second thing is, if I don't send this water, the groundwater recharge doesn't happen. That's what you learned in my first part of the talk. Okay? That means, only waste bodies think. Normal human beings don't think that where water going to the ocean is waste. Okay? So that's where I emphasize that we need to have a resource audit. And now with that, before I move to the Bengaluru, another small work we have done is on plastic. Today it has become a fancy for everyone to walk with those. Here, the container containing cancer. If you want, you can challenge me. I have no problem. It is manufactured out of chemicals. Naturally, when there is a transfer of heat from one stage to the manufacture to the packaging to the transport, there is a transfer of heat. Then it releases the dioxin and BPA, biophenol A. Now, these are all carcinogen. That means when you drink this water, 1000 bottles, also book a slot in the Hidwai Institute of Oncology. Okay? In Japan I was told they also book the slot in the cemetery because the children don't take care. So that's where when they are alive only they will do it. Bangalore is also moving in that direction. One of my friends in forest department, he said he must be around 58 or 59 now. He will retire. He said, already I have booked a slot in Rudashram. Then I said, what's the situation? Why you have reached this? He said, I am not sure whether my children will take care. That's why I have booked the slot there to be on the safer side so that much money will be there. I can lead a happy life there. Okay? So at the end, if I have time, I will show you how the situation in 2070. Now I will skip that. Okay? Now I will take you to Bengaluru. Bengaluru, how it was in 1800. Does anyone know? But I know. Because I said that I was a saint at that time, okay? 1800, the Bengaluru, the undulating terrain, we had 1452 water bodies. Okay? And the forest cover or the vegetation cover was about 80%. We had tiger. Malleshwaram, Kadu Malleshwaram forest, we had tiger. Today what we have? 2 fellows. Okay? And temperature at that time in the May month was 14 to 16 degrees Celsius in May month. Today what's the temperature? See, that's why people when they come from other city, they say, oh, Bangalore is beautiful. The poor fellows, they do not know what was Bangalore earlier. So probably they are only the waste heap, that's why they think Bangalore is relatively better. In Bangalore, in December month, the temperature was for a few days 0 degrees Celsius. We were growing apples. What are we growing today? Garbage, litter, and senseless human beings. Population is increasing. So, the city which was garden city became garbage city. That's what Jaydev was telling me, that city has become garbage city. To help him, I have put that statement there. Okay? And now we are marching toward dead city. Okay? Now look at this. Again, using remote sensing data, you can do this. 1973, I had enjoyed this city as a child. 68% was under green. And the green is vegetation, yellow is open space, blue is water body, red are building. 92, you see how this, your policy decision, how it changes the landscape, you need to understand. And now 2016, you see 76% is under red. Okay? Now, I'll just animate this. What is going to happen in 2020, or this one will try to understand that. We do the modeling and visualization of that. 1970, you see everywhere green. Today also you see green. Lakes are covered with green. So that's what is happening. So that way garden city still holds good. That's what one of the MLA told me. Sir, still we are green. Because every pollutant in the system, their briefcase gets filled. Okay? 1973, the city was green. 92, you see, with the Pinia and Koramangala industrial, this one, you see the changes happening. Then 2000, ITBT at outskirts, you see the things started changing. Then 2006, intensification. 2009, further intensification. 2012. That's where I wrote an article saying, enough is enough. Let us decongest Bangalore. When you talk in simpler words, gentler words, people don't understand. Okay? So there I gave a statistic saying that last 4 decades there has been 1028% increase in the concrete area. We lost 88% vegetation, 79% water body. People said, so what? We are still living. Okay? Then I thought I should write another article. For that we did the modeling. So we divided Bangalore into 4 zones. 1 kilometer concentric circle. In each circle, how the growth has happened and what are the agents that play a role, we try to understand. See, 1973, most part of Bangalore was 20% built up area in all circles. Only the core area, central business district, you had some growth, okay? 92, with the industries coming here, Pinia and Koramangala, now you know the agent's role, okay? Then you have 99, outskirts, then you can see intensification happening. If this continues, look at this. 2017, 78%, from 76% in 1 year, it becomes 78%. And now, 2020, it is 94%, 93.3. And if this trend continues, 2025, 98% of the landscape will be covered only with concrete. Do you think that is a good situation? Why do you think it's not a good situation? Having all the high-rise building, moving around with a smartphone, that's a good sign, no? You said no. Huh? When I was walking in the afternoon, I was looking at everybody in the high-rise building and all. When you come to my campus with the trees and people like me walking around with the head, bent little bit, we walk. So I saw with everyone with the head up, 45 degree, looking at the sky and then having the thing, not seeing anybody walking across. Even if their own child is in the front, they won't even recognize. But is it a good situation? The situation is you will be deprived of oxygen and the water. If the landscape has the forest, we understood, we will have water in the underlying layer. 45% of Bangalore depends on the groundwater. Cauvery, you don't have much water. Don't think that I have an apartment, I will get the water. Groundwater is declining. In some other places, it has become 1,600 feet in this part. And when you go so deep, natural geological strata itself has a heavy metal. That means people are getting water contaminated with the heavy metal. When you take heavy metal, the water with heavy metal, You don't even have to have Chavanprash. Such a beautiful system we have evolved. I'm sure those who take Chavanprash or advertisement would have understood the thing. This is where I wrote an article saying Bangalore is becoming dead city. You know, we wrote and media picked it up. Then, you know, somebody posted in the Facebook. All the faceless fellows also looked at it. You know, though, these faceless fellows, they don't read newspaper. Now, my problem is that I have to communicate to everybody. You know, the media, all sections of society, irrespective of their economic status or their mental status, I should communicate. So then only I can get a solution. So that's where people, this will probably Joydeep also would have seen that. Okay, he was telling me he read that article. Okay, then I wrote an editorial also. So in the current science. Okay, then, okay, I'll skip that. How much time I have still? That I have covered about 10% of my talk.
40 minutes over.
Huh?
40 minutes over.
Okay, then I will skip water bodies, okay? So now, let us see whether we have enough water in the region, okay? This is about 3 minutes, this part. You know, Bangalore receives about 700 to 850 millimeter rainfall. Okay, if I quantify, I have 15 TMC of water. Bangaloreans require 18 TMC of water. That means 70% of the water which Bangalorean requires, I can meet it through the rainwater alone. But how do you harvest the rainwater? There are two ways. One is rooftop harvesting. When an individual does it, they have additional water of 3 to 4 months. Another option, the best option, is retain it through the lake. You know, rejuvenate the lake and retain it through the lake. When you do it, surrounding borewells get recharged. You know, that is the best option. Now the second thing is, if you are using 18 TMC of water, you also generate 18 TMC of wastewater. If I treat that, I get 16 TMC of water. So then, you know, this is the rainfall factor. So, and this is 15 TMC I talked about. And these are the lakes I have, 193 lakes today. You know, 145 to 193. Okay. Now, these lakes, every ward has one lake. 198 ward, 193 lakes. If I get sensible people in each ward, if I rejuvenate this lake, the problem of water I have solved in the cities. That's where I've been searching for sensible citizens in Bangalore. Still I am searching, I have not got it. Okay. In my last 4 days, I am almost every day I am speaking to the people, hoping that I will get somebody. Immediately after my talk, people say, oh, wonderful. But after evening, if I call somebody, say, who said wonderful, say who you are. Okay. So now, this is the lake. 98% of the lakes are encroached. 93% of lakes are sewage fed. Okay. And when we feed sewage and industrial effluent, you might close your nose. But you know, it's also getting into your groundwater. The same water, the tanker fellow comes and supplies it. So you should understand that what you give it to the system is giving it back. So all of you have consumed sewage. If there is somebody who wants to challenge, can challenge me. I will prove that you are wrong. Okay? Now, what is the best way to do it? See, one is criticism. The second is, as a researcher, I should give solution. Now, this is the model. I got it implemented at Jakkur, popularly known as IISC model or Jakkur Lake model. Those who are the media would have seen this. What did we do? You have secondary treatment plant and then constructed wetland and algae pond. Now, secondary treatment plant, you know, it removes the chemical ion. Now, what is our problem with the sewage? It has nutrient. Because we all eat protein, it has nitrogen, Sarojanaca. Then you wash cloth with detergent, you have phosphorus. Because of that phosphorus only froth is happening. Okay? Now I have to remove N and P. The best way is to take advantage of nature's function. This is what you will learn when you work with nature. We know that what the ability of the plant, which species is the best. We have deployed that. And you know, this is Jakkur Lake. In 2005, when I monitored the lakes, surrounding borewells, I had seen higher amount of the nitrate in the well water. Today, last 6-7 years, there are no nitrates. That means this technology is working. And sometimes when we go, we drink this water also. 500 kgs of fish is caught every day. Don't you see the livelihood is also there? So, that is what we need to understand. This is the thing. This report is available on the net. You can download and the thing. And for this model, whether it's a wastewater or the result, I have a 5R formula. First R, I need a responsible people. If people are responsible, I can ensure rejuvenation of lake and retain the water. And I can also make sure that recycle and reuse of water will happen. In fact, when I was talking like this very emotionally, one fellow asked me, why do you make Bangaloreans drink sewage? I said, what the hell? You are drinking sewage only. Cauvery water is not this one. If you track the Cauvery, Mysore sewage comes to Bangalore. On the way some treatment happens, you are this one. I am telling you, instead of drinking Mysore fellow sewage, drink your own sewage. We didn't have it. So, that's the best way. Why should we think of this one? Okay? So, now you understood this one. Okay, now I will move to the concluding part. So, this is the situation. If you look at this frog, for people with a selfie, they think it is a glacier. So, for the bureaucrats, the solution is put a mix. Because it was coming on the road, and you people while traveling, you are all disturbed with that. They said to help you all, they said that they'll put the mesh. In the process, they spent 2 crores. They looted 2 crores. I wrote an article saying that this is an ad hoc reactionary approach, foolish approach. The government tells me, you always criticize and we have succeeded in controlling it. For my luck, 5th day it crossed over. You are looting money is only for 4 days you can hide. In any event. Now, another thing, look at the fire and water. I have visited many countries. We are remarkable people. Coexistence of water and fire, only my country, my city people can demonstrate it. Nowhere else. Show me anywhere else where you can see the fire and the water together. Okay? So, now what is this problem? Why it is happening? Let us try to see that. Picture is worth million words. It conveys a lot of message. I need not even talk. Look at this. That is the problem, okay? See, engineering college comes to the lake because student has to be cool always, okay? And we travel in the boat. We want to be cool. And not inside the bus, above the bus. And our man ruling the thing want to sleep throughout his life. Once get elected, 5 years he will sleep. Okay. Now, I have written what are the causal factors for the floods. And from 2009, I am hoping government will do something. How to solve these floods? I have given the solution. Now, what needs to be done? Let us try to understand. I will skip some of the slides. One other thing you need to understand, temperature of the city is changing. What was 19 degree become 26 degree and then 29 degree. Today is 38 or 40 degree. That's what we have. Using remote sensing data you can capture. Now to understand that, what we did is from the center of the city, we moved in 8 directions, noted down the temperature profile. You see wherever lake is there, temperature is 2 degree lower. Okay? Even vegetation, the park is there, temperature is 2 degree lower. And even in my campus, the last one is my campus, temperature is 2 degree lower. That's why we are so cool. Today you too must have enjoyed the campus, okay? You notice that tonight how well you sleep. Okay? So now you understood the city is not because of the poor environmental literacy. What is the environmental literacy in the city? People are literate. They can read and write. 85% of the people can read and write. Next to Mumbai, which is about 88.5. Okay? But when it comes to environmental literacy, it's only 3.5%. Most of the people don't know from where water comes, and people think only the bottled water they should drink, and their children should drink only the bottled water, then only the child will be healthy. All these kinds of research they have in their mind. That is because of the poor education system. We didn't teach, or my generation didn't go to the school properly to understand these basics. That's why we are feeding our children with those bottled water. And the junk food, all those things has become the order of the day. What needs to be done? See, as a faculty, I do teaching, also I practice. Now what I have done, let us try to see. I have an environment education program, network of schools and colleges in Karnataka. And we organize a program popularly known as Lake Symposium once in 2 years. From 98 we have been doing, 10th event we conducted in last 2016. Now the next event, 2018 in November 13 to 15 at Alvas we are doing. You can create a new lake if possible and plant native sapling. Now when you look at this, see this is a lake, again, see 2008. I started my journey in 97. My doctorate was in 97. In 10 years I have succeeded in creating the lake. I am sure many professionals can do the same thing. If they do, one professional go to their village and create one lake, I think they have done their job, being an IT professional. Okay? Now, because of this, every year 10 lakh litre of water gets stored. How much water I consume, my family? Around 400 litres per day. 400 into 365 is much less, lower than 10 lakh. And now see, who are all happy? My students, they enjoy. And this. From where it has come? Do you know what is this? Orchard. Smear, okay? So, now this fellow is there means it must be getting enough food. We created just water body, everything has come on its own. Now when we do this, see, if I get a picture of the entire pattern. See, here 2007 you can see me walking. Then you see from 2008 how it is. This is algae, this is zooplankton, this is a fish which is in the lake, the bird, and this is the water, and this is a snake. See, we have good number of snakes. Recently today also you noticed that. One of my students while doing studies here, he got a skin of the snake. As a researcher, our job is always to explore, find out and out. We asked the student to measure the length of the snake skin. He came and said 279 centimeter. We said, okay, go one step ahead. What is the maximum length reported in the country? He said 239. So the gentlemen and ladies, please look at IISC, not just our student excel. Even the animals in our campus also excel. So, this is the beauty of my campus. My institute is number 1 in India. We are on the top and one among the first 10. And many more youngsters come to the science. Probably we will be on the top. So that is the hope. That's where we have been moving, talking to the youngsters, giving these insights, hoping that they will become more sensible. And now another, this one. This is in Gokarna. You all know Gokarna, known for Shiva temple. There is a lake called Koti Tirtha. It was stinking. 10 years, nobody has worried. Then some local people came to know about my work. They said, why don't you visit and tell us what is to be done? Then, as usual, I go with my student. We saw it is a simple case of nutrient enrichment. What is this nutrient enrichment? Why it happened? People perform puja, rituals. 12th day or anniversary. After that, those rice balls are left into the water body and they leave it to the destiny. God has to take care. So the God, that's why God covered with the weed. So the lake started dying. Then we realized that we had a meeting with these priests, very powerful fellows. They said, oh, nothing is impossible. God has given this, it has to be like that. We said, no, we can do something. We said, only 2 conditions are there. If you can fulfill, I can solve the problem. What are the 2 conditions? We said that at a designated place, this disposal has to happen. When the disposal happens, they have to chant. When they chant, they should make sure 25 rupees is collected per family. So now, because of that, every month, we have a revenue of 20 to 25,000. Now that 25,000 is given to NGO who will take care of regular deweeding, etc. Now 3 youth have got job. Not Skill India, Make in India. Even before that we did that, okay? And in the meanwhile we introduce a fish into the lake which likes rice. Slowly fish is happy because it gets food. You go to Shungeri, you see the fish which likes the rice, Mahashi, okay? Now at the same time, 3 youths are happy, okay, they got the job, Priests are happy because they can chant and get additional money. Now, for the last 2 years, lake looks like this. Don't you see the remarkable change? You know, even Lord Shiva is very happy. You might ask, how do you know? You know, whatever I have done last 2 years has really become popular. I would say that, even as a scientist, I should claim that I don't believe in this. But see the things happening, that means if you keep the nature clean, certainly the dividends come to you. You know, we have done many things. You know, my students, they write article, get published. In fact, sometimes we have gone to the place to monitor the thing. When we come down, we would have got the email from the editor saying that your paper is accepted. I mean, we don't go to temple for the sake of saying that, please make sure our paper is published. The thing, once in a while we go there and it happens, okay? Now, also we make people to do job. You know, you understood what we have done. See, when we meet people, no, this gentleman, he is a tech savvy. You know, he followed my work and my talk on the steel flyover. He said, oh, there's somebody talks so well. Okay, I would like to listen to you, he said. Well, then he invited, I was in Bengaluru. So that year, Bengaluru was suffering from a severe water crisis, 2015 and 2016. You know, Sulabh Shauchalaya was closed and also the medical colleges were closed. That's the time he invited me. We all went, myself, Vinay and all we went. So while talking, after presentation, he said, I have 12 acres of land. Then we thought, okay, now the next we have got the success here. So we said we would like to see the land. When we went to the land, I told Swamiji that I would like to enjoy each grain in your land. You know, the idea was we didn't want to reveal. When we walk, my student will collect the data, topography data. So then they silently collected the data. We came back to the lab. We didn't tell Swamiji what is our agenda. We silently prepared a report saying that how much water gets collected in his location, what should be the size of the lake, and where he should create, which is the lowest point. Then we gave the report to Swamiji in May 2016. Then we told Swamiji, anyway you are facing water crisis, if you do this, then water crisis may not happen. So June 5th, the monsoon will start. Why don't you think of the creating a lake? He, as usual, he said, we don't have money. We said, okay, we don't need money. You have muscle power. The muscle and money goes hand in hand. There are people who have muscle also have money. You know, when you look at the politicians, you will see them. Okay. So then he understood then believe it or not, in 10 days, he creates the water body with the help of engineering and science college student, and you can see that young CEO is there. You know, this is the beauty of my country. If I bring awareness, yes, things work. So that's what we have succeeded. This is in 2016. Then we caught one young fellow there. We said, why not in your campus? This year, 2017, he created in his campus, Alwas Engineering College, close by. You see that 15 lakh liters of water was stored there. This year, there was no water scarcity in that locality. What do you want? Every drop of water makes you, Mr. Neer is there, I have full water. That's what we should think about it. Community should get benefit. Okay? Now, you know this climber? This is actually from Western Ghats. You know, when I was a student, I was roaming in this forest. I was fascinated by that architecture. I said I should have it in Bengaluru, preferably in IISC campus. I brought that seed to the Bengaluru. You know, this is the seed, the pod. There are 14 seeds. 7 I have kept in my office. I wanted to retain that. Other 7 we planted in 7 places. You know, out of 7 places, it has come up in only 1 place. You know, this was planted by me when I was a student. I didn't even know that I will be in the campus as a faculty. And second thing is, I didn't know that I will be in the campus in this building. But this fellow knew that I am going to be in the campus and also in that building where I have worked for the last 2 decades. Recently we moved to the new building. And now, see, and my office, this room. You know, even nature puts eye on. Now, if somebody wants to dispute, I would ask the same question. Out of 7 places, it was planted by the same hand, my hand, same soil, same climate. Why it didn't come up in all remaining 6 places? Why it has come here? If you can convince me with your logical argument, I will accept it. So far, no one has taken that risk. Okay. Now, in front of this, the building, we also created a forest. Again, 49 species from Western Ghats, about 500 sapling in 2 hectares area. You know, that area was rich in Parthenium, the weed. Today you get the feel of the rainforest. You know, when you look at this one, you get a feel of the rainforest. Okay? And when you look at this, you know, groundwater at that time was 150 feet. Today I have the water at 5 to 10 feet in this region. Now you got the answer, how to retain the water. If somebody has a dispute on my experiment in Western Ghats, they cannot dispute this. They have to be really, you know, to dispute this, okay? Now, the temperature is another 2 degrees lower, and that has become a place where I find lot of snakes and birds, etc., rich biodiversity, and even I have 4 families of these fellows. From where it has come? Malleshwaram. Because Malleshwaram has become jungle with all these shetties and all converting their apartment, the single house to the multi-tier thing. You know, mantris, countries, everyone landed there, okay? So that's what has happened, okay? Now, to bring this kind of thing, we also, awareness among the public, we do this symposium. You know, the uniqueness of this event is one day is for the school children. You know, for the children to take part, you know, there's a dividend there. You know, the children can interact with the experts, international and national. At the same time, student can do the presentation. You know, the third day they do the presentation, but for them to do that, we have to train them. That's what we do that. So you can get all the details from 98 onwards in that website, okay? So, you know, recently, since I was roaming in Western Ghats, Bangalore people thought that I am lost for the Bangalore. So they caught me last year, they gave me Namma Bangalore award. Okay? And that award also had some cash prize. Then I just distributed that cash among the 6 schools. You know, that's the way I do the CSR. Okay? That's where, you know, 6 schools, my agenda there was, if I make child to understand the quality of water, you know, that child will not touch bottled water. At the same time, child will not pollute the water body. So that was the agenda I had. And that's where silently we are sowing the seeds of this in the minds of these youngsters, okay? So now the children, see, they are monitoring the trees in the catchment to find out what is the carbon store. You know that trees takes away the carbon. Am I right? That's why you see the smoker standing below the tree and smoking. So that's it. I mean, that's what they tell me. I said, no, smoking is injurious to health. They said, no, your tree requires the thing, we are giving it. Okay? So then wherever lakes are there, we identify the schools. They will monitor the catchment as well as the lake quality. The kids collect the, you know, they have been trained by my postdoctoral fellow. This is the froth in 2000. You know, today's froth you saw. If you take a truck, free wash. If you walk through, you have free wash, okay? So, take a difference between these 2 height, which is directly proportional to the increase in corruption in Karnataka. If somebody want to disprove, again can come and argue with me. I have the statistics to prove that, okay? So, now the children go and collect the sample, they come to our lab. You know, the premier institution, the kids from rural area, entering the campus itself is a thing. You know, the children who did this experiment in 98, today they are in NASA and IITs as a faculty. What else I require? Tell me. I have placed these kids together. Okay? So now the kids, they have done the sketches. You know, this is the beauty of that microorganism, the algae, and this is the thing. Similarly, rural area, the kids do the mapping of the diversity of life in their village. You know, what kind of plants are there, animals are there, and human beings are there. You know, how many indigenous doctors are there. You know, I was surprised, in one of the village, there are 12 varieties of brinjal. You know, one brinjal is good for fragrance, another one is for the yield. If I hybridize that, I have solved the problem of my country. I don't have to be at the mercy of the, I should not tell that, no? I will stop there. Okay? So now the kids, they come with the data. See, actually the Government of India Biodiversity Act says that you should have the biodiversity register for every village, panchayat. They didn't succeed. When we did it, in 1 year, I got 300 villages data. When we did the verifications, 175 villages authentic. So that's the power of the youth. We are trying to harvest that. See, the country has abundant resources, solar energy and youth power. If I harvest these two, the country will develop on its own. So now we are also looking at the diatom. These are microorganisms. The oil that is there, we are trying to generate biofuel. I talked about the protein. If I stress this algae of nutrient N, then it stores more of oil. That's where the opacity and this one protein, that analogy comes from this. Okay. Now what we are trying to do is, my students are trying to do is, we wrote an article in 2009. We said, let us make this organism to secrete the oil. Suppose you want oil from groundnut or coconut, you need to crush that. When you crush, there is an energy cost there. Now we are trying to see whether this organism can secrete the oil. You might ask how it will work. Because mammals, look at the analogy. Mammals, mammalian glands secrete the milk. Take that analogy, do the cell manipulation here, so that this organism start oozing out the oil. Now when we are looking at the species, how the species behave, we also come across one of the species oozing out the oil on its own without we doing anything. So at the time we wrote this article, it became quite popular. BBC, everybody landed in my office asking for more detail. Today NREL is working on this. That's the thing. With a change in temperature, everyone had to wear cap. When we wear cap, let us have this algae culture in that. Okay? And then keep a bottle in your pocket. When this technology is ready, if you have succeeded that, algae secretes the oil, gets collected in your water, so that oil for tomorrow you would have generated today when you walk out. That is the ambition we have. If I can succeed in that, the country will not be at the mercy of all those powerful fellows for oil. So this is our contribution to the system. These are my areas. And there's one more thing. This is the internet-based course. This is mainly for the people working in industry. 14th batch we conducted, 15th batch. Now the 16th batch we have announced. This is during September to December. This is for the people working in industry and university, so that I don't get waterman. That kind of people I don't have it. So that to bring the kind of awareness, we conduct this event. So, and I get a student, very young people, 65 years retired wing commander. And also there are 20-year-old the student from the college. So mix of this one. So that means capacity building is happening at all levels, schools to college to the university to the industry. So if you want to know more, the first website gives you the biodiversity. This gives you spatial analysis at zero cost. We use software, open source software for our spatial analysis. Whether you saw Bengaluru, it's all zero cost. Our brain, the student's time, and the downloaded data, remote sensing data from the public domain, we have analyzed at zero cost, only the student time. And this is my website where you get all our research. When you click on this, you get research paper organized theme-wise, whether it's energy or wetland. When you click on this energy, you get the further subgroup-wise all the publication. Similarly, related to lake, that Bengaluru and all which I talked about, IISC campus, mini forest, all those are available here. And these are the youngsters who have been working with me. They are the one. So they have done a marvelous job. I thank them. And thank you all for listening to me and giving me extra time.